President Brown, can you hear me okay? This is Commissioner Pinocci.
Yes, we can, Commissioner Pinocci. We're trying to deal with the
Thank you.
video portion of this meeting, but I have advised staff that we would still meet our open meetings laws by having audio only.
I'll hold right where I'm at. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Commissioner Pinocci, can you hear me?
This is Commissioner Fielder, and I can.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Fielder. Commissioner Pinocci?
I can hear you and I'm present.
All right, well, we have some major technology difficulties today in the Bollinger Room, apparently. So I'm going to be unable to see either of you if you want to raise your hand. So you'll just have to either just sort of weigh in or make yourself known if you'd like to speak to a matter. All right, well, let's get this business meeting started a few minutes late here. Good morning. Call this meeting to order. Time is now 9:48 a.m. Today's date is Tuesday, June 28, 2022. It's the time and place for our regularly scheduled business meeting. Would the other commissioners please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance? I would just note for the public record that we are unable to accommodate video this morning, but we do have audio, so we are still in compliance with our right to know and right to participate obligations under the Montana Constitution. I would note that we do have quorum this morning. Commissioner O'Donnell, myself are present here in the Bollinger Room, and Commissioners Pinocci and Fielder are participating via Zoom. Vice President Johnson is excused today. All right, this is the time and place for public comment. Is there any public commenters in the room? Seeing none, are there any public commenters online? Okay, I've been told there are none. All right, we'll move on to our action items. Action item number 1 is approval of the commission minutes for the week of June 13, 2022. Commissioner O'Donnell. Commissioner O'Donnell moves to approve the minutes for the week of June 13, 2022. I will second. Discussion, comments, changes to the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor of Commissioner O'Donnell's motion to approve the minutes for the week of June 13, 2022 as drafted, signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed signify by saying no. Seeing no opposition, motion carries unanimously, which is 4-0 this morning. All right, before we move into the work session items, I do want to call up Mr. Eric Wilkerson. Good morning, Mr. Wilkerson.
Good morning, President Brown.
It's my understanding you're going to be leaving us at the PSC this week.
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Well, we are sad to see you go, but we very much appreciated the months of service you've provided to the commission as our executive director. You started on August 2nd, 2021 in a newly created position for the commission. And you've done yeoman's work in helping us to reorganize the agency and to get our processes and procedures in order. And you've done a great job in all you've done in terms of working with the staff and commissioners. So you will be missed, but tell us what you're doing next.
I have been basically hired from at Jefferson High School in Boulder as their new superintendent. And kind of one of those opportunities that came out of nowhere, I guess, kind of surprised me. Wasn't something I was looking for, but it found me. Yes, if it's okay with you, President Brown, I just want to say a few words. First
Of
of
course.
all, I would like to say, I'd like to thank the commission for giving me the opportunity at this position. It's the learning curve here at the PSC is absolutely amazing. I can't tell you how many things I've learned here, especially understanding what the PSC does. So it has been a pleasure working with each and every commissioner. I want to also say that the staff here is second to none. I truly appreciate the work that the staff does here. The time, the commitment, they're very positive, and my interactions with them have been just absolutely amazing. So I want to thank all the staff for welcoming me here and making my time here very positive. This is a wonderful institution, agency, I guess, and the work they do is so important and so detail oriented. It's that it takes an amazing group of people to do that and do that well. So I want to thank them and thank the commission for the time.
Thank you, Mr. Wilkerson. From academia and education you came, and from academia and education you go. So we wish you the best of luck in your endeavors. And I would say the public education system is as important in every way as the work we do at the commission. So Godspeed. So thank you for all you've done. They say that life is a series of hellos and goodbyes. I think that's Billy Joel, is it not? So we do have a hello this morning. So we do have a new staffer. Mr. Sherwood, do you want to come up? Make sure the blue light's on. All right. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're going to be doing for the commission?
Yeah, so recently hired on here, second day, hired as the rail safety manager, came from Montana Railing directly, was mechanical foreman, promoted to assistant general mechanical foreman, worked 8 years for Montana Railing. Prior to that, I worked for BNSF as a machinist, mechanic, and relief foreman for them. So my education is in diesel technology and specialized railroad experience for the last decade.
Well, very good. We're glad to have you on board. We're very excited we were able to procure your services, and we look forward to working with you in the coming months and years.
Appreciate the opportunity and glad to be here.
Very good. Okay, so we are deferring some items this morning, so I'll walk through those. We're going to defer item number 5 on the work session, which is the accounting order rulemaking, which was to consider beginning informal rulemaking on applications for accounting orders. We'll defer that. And moving down to number 7, which is the Blue Book review, revised travel policy. We're going to defer that. We're going to try to pick that up at our next business meeting on July 12th. And then we're deferring matter number 8, which is docket 2021.09.118. which is commission initiated purple rulemaking. We will definitely be taking that up on Tuesday, July 12th, 2022. So those matters will be deferred. So let's get into our work session items. Work session item number 1 is docket 2021.04.053, commission initiated. It's procedural rulemaking to consider beginning of formal rulemaking regarding the commission's intervention rules. Mr. Reed.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would characterize this as the end of the beginning for this rule. As the commission is no doubt aware, this rule prior to this action had not been edited or rewritten since 1977. This process involves taking what were 5 rules and collapsing them into one that we think is going to be a more efficient and effective way of allowing interested parties to intervene in cases. I would like to make a couple of points. One is that as indicated in the memorandum and in the comments on the rule, this does mirror best practices, including FERC regulations on intervention. I would also note that at the last ETIC meeting, several concerns were voiced about the way in which this new rule, specifically Section 8, might to a greater or lesser degree limit intervention. And I think that the edits that staff have provided are based on some of the comments and concerns that we've received. We inserted that not to impede any party's due process or impede any party's access to the commission, but simply to make sure that in the unlikely event that it's necessary, the commission would be able to limit parties' ability to unnecessarily delay or duplicate positions, or in other ways, prejudice other parties. With that having been said, the rule very much speaks for itself. There's an excellent explanatory memo that was set out by Mr. Hamilton and by our redoubtable intern, Mr. Valen Anthos, and I sit prepared to respond to any comments, questions, or concerns that the commission might have at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. I will move to approve draft notice of proposed rulemaking and to authorize staff to make edits recommended by the Secretary of State if need be. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, Commissioner Fielder has seconded. Discussion? Commissioner O'Donnell?
Mr. Reed, how long of a process do you expect this to involve? You said with the end of the beginning. What are we beginning now?
Mr. President, Commissioner O'Donnell, the making process is set out in statute. The first step is in fact this publication and proposal for adoption. We will then have a public hearing at which parties can participate. I am not entirely clear on the exact dates, but it will be done before the beginning of October.
Mr. President.
Thank you.
So if I may, excuse me, Commissioner Fielder, if I may provide a date certain. So under the rule as drafted, and persons interested in this rule will have opportunity to provide comment, data, or views on the proposed rule by 5 p.m. on August 8, 2022. Commissioner Fielder?
Mr. President, I wanted to say that I appreciate the extra step the staff went to conduct scoping on this prior to developing the draft rule. I think that was a productive use of time and hopefully will result in a better end product here. I appreciate the staff's effort on this and the parties that were engaged in a meaningful matter.
Thank you, Commissioner Fielder. Additional comment? I will support my own motion on this. As Mr. Reed stated, the aim of this draft rule is to modernize the commission's interventions rules, which haven't been touched since the 1970s, and to try to clarify and streamline the commission's rules on intervention, and to do so by creating a single intervention rule. As Mr. Reed mentioned, the purpose of the new rule is not to keep parties out necessarily, but to allow the commission to most effectively and efficiently manage its proceedings consistent with the requirements of due process and law. As the staff here is certainly aware in certain cases, we are extremely time crunched in the time under which we have to act on matters, and the more that we can resolve on the front end and less on the back end will make the process smoother for the commission and all parties. So I would urge my colleagues to proceed with the publication of the proposed rulemaking. Additional comment? Seeing none, all those in favor of my motion, signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed signify by saying no. Seeing no opposition, motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Reed. All right, let's move to work session item number 2. This is docket 2022.04.053 Northwestern Energy. This is Townsend propane annual cost tracking adjustment to consider referring the matter to Agency Legal Services Bureau for appointment of a hearing examiner. Mr. Reed, I think you're handling this as well. Go ahead.
Mr. President, that's correct. As the commission is aware, the legislature has appropriated a rather significant amount of money to allow us to present cases from time to time to Agency Legal Services Bureau. After staff review of this relatively perfunctory docket, we would ask that the commission authorize referral of this matter to the Bureau so that they can appoint a hearings officer and handle the matter.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. I would move to refer this matter to Agency Legal Services Bureau for the appointment of a hearing examiner. Is there a second?
Second the motion.
Commissioner Fielder has seconded. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion to refer this matter to Agency Legal Services for appointment of a hearing examiner signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed signify by saying no. Seeing no opposition, motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Reed. Let's move to work session item number 3. This is docket 2022.06.068 Northwestern Energy. Application for approval of 2022 avoided cost compliance filing. Schedule number QFLT-1. We're here to consider granting Northwestern's request for an interim rate adjustment. Neil.
Mr. President, members of the commission, these are the interim rates and are the rates in the QFLT-1 tariff. They affect 3 parties only: Northwestern Energy, Colstrip Electric Limited Partnership, and Pine Creek Hydro. It's pretty much a formulaic derivation, and the parties will have a chance to observe the results up for the final order.
Reed, anything?
Mr. President, I would note that yesterday I was contacted by counsel for Colstrip Energy Limited Partnership. They indicated that they had no objection to this docket proceeding forward, and no other party has intervened in the matter.
Okay, and to clarify, Mr. Reed, this is where you would be acting on an interim rate adjustment effective July 1st of 2022, correct?
That's correct, Mr. President.
And there would be opportunity for parties to comment or participate before we finalize this matter?
That's correct.
Okay. I will move to grant Northwestern Energy's request for an interim rate adjustment in this matter. Is there a second? Commissioner O'Donnell has seconded. Discussion. Seeing no discussion or questions, all those in favor of my motion to approve Northwestern's proposed QFLT-1 rates on an interim basis as of July 1st, 2022, signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed signify by saying no. Seeing no opposition, motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Neil. All right, let's move to item number 4, which is docket 2022.06.070 Montana Dakota Utilities Company. They have requested authority to implement a fuel and purchase power cost tracking adjustment. We're being asked to act on an interim order. Mr. Fink.
Good morning, President and Commissioners. As you had stated, this is Montana Dakota Utilities. They submitted their application on June 15th, and it is for their annual deferred fuel cost account true up. In that balance, they under recovered $124,431 for their primary service customers and $396,164 for their secondary service customers as of April 30th, 2022. When they estimated amounts for May and June, those under recovered amounts increases slightly. Compared to prior year's adjustments, the unreflected adjustment results in an increase of 0.00157 for primary customers and an increase of 0.00087 for secondary customers. The new rate will become effective July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023. Again, this is an interim rate, and staff and any interveners will continue to review the application more in depth in the coming months. Staff is available for questions. Thank you.
Commissioner O'Donnell?
Yes, Mr. President, I move to approve the MDU authority to implement fuel and purchase power cost tracking adjustment as an interim order.
I will second that motion. Discussion? Again, Commissioners Panoche and Fielder, I can't see whether you want to participate, so just feel free to weigh in.
Mr. President, I just note too that we can't hear any noise in the room or any speaking unless the mic's turned on. So I haven't heard if someone else was trying to make seconds to those other motions. So just so you know, we can't hear if the mic's not turned on.
Very good. We do have a motion and second in this matter. So we're on discussion. Any discussion? Being none.
Commissioner Panoche has no comment.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Panoche. All those in favor of Commissioner O'Donnell's motion to act and approve on the interim order signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed signify by saying no. Seeing no opposition, motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Fink. As noted, we have deferred matter number 5, the accounting order rulemaking. We will then proceed to matter number 6, which is docket 2021.08.109. This is Northwestern Energy. This is Northwestern Energy's request for partial waiver of administrative and tariff rules concerning in-person notice. We're here to act on the, to make a decision on Northwest Energy's request. Scobert.
Good morning, Mr. President and Commissioners. Northwestern requests a partial waiver of ARM 38.5.1405 and 38.5.1413, as well as tariff rules 13-5 and 13-13, which would eliminate the requirement to leave pre-termination and post-termination in-person door tag notices for customers whose electric or gas service is about to be shut off for non-payment. A hearing on this matter was held April 25th, and both Northwestern and the MCC have submitted post-hearing briefs. Staff recommends denying Northwestern's application. The commission is currently undertaking a comprehensive review of its administrative rules. The primary goal of this effort is to identify and address aspects of the rules that are clearly outdated, obsolete, incorrect, or otherwise in need of clarification. Staff believes this comprehensive rule review is a more appropriate avenue for implementing any modifications to the administrative rules in question in this docket. Utilizing this process would ensure any rule changes would apply evenly to all regulated utilities and customers in Montana. Thank you.
Sokolok, do you want to weigh in on this?
Mr. President, only to note that Northwestern also submitted a response to the staff memo and wanted to ensure that commissioners had a chance to see that before their decision today.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman?
Commissioner O'Donnell?
Yes, I move to accept staff's recommendation on this matter.
Is there a second? And you're, just to clarify that you're moving to deny Northwest Energy's
Correct.
request. Okay.
I'll
is it-
second the motion, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you. Discussion, Commissioner O'Donnell.
No discussion. I think the staff's reasoning is quite compelling, Mr. Chairman.
Additional discussion or comment?
Mr. President.
Commissioner Fielder.
Yes, I concur with the staff's approach to this. It's been a little bit troublesome to see piecemeal waivers to rules. One of those happened to me my very first week in office, and I really appreciate the staff's more comprehensive approach to handling these matters and look forward to continued work on this topic. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Fielder. Commissioner Pinochi.
I'd like to point out that since COVID has hit, it seems like it's very, very difficult to get somebody out of an apartment or turn anything off. And at some point, we've got to get back to some normalcy, which may not be a good fit at this point, but I'm keeping an eye on that. But I'll support the motion today.
Thank you, Commissioner Pinochi. Commissioner O'Donnell, anything? Okay. I am going to support Commissioner O'Donnell's motion, but I do have some comments. First, I did read all the materials that were submitted by the parties in this matter, and I appreciate the comprehensive and excellent briefing. I found it quite informative, and it was certainly fodder for thought. I also very much appreciate Northwestern Energy coming forward with this docket, because I do think the fact that much like the intervention rules, we haven't touched or considered our rules in this regard since the early 1980s. And certainly the world has changed significantly since the Reagan administration. And so I think that some of what Northwestern Energy is proposing here may make sense, both on a policy and public interest manner, and certainly it may make sense for customers affected by the notice for termination of services. However, I don't think that Northwestern Energy came forward with enough evidence or argument to meet its burden in this matter for the commission to do a waiver of our rules. And while I appreciate the company's request for a pilot program, I agree with MCC that essentially the pilot program implements in substance what is being sought. Anyway, that being said, as I'm fully supportive of doing rulemaking to revise these rules, it certainly makes sense in 2022 to electronically give notice to persons instead of using the paper form. But again, I'm going to support this motion primarily because as we've seen, the paper form seems to be generally effective. And so that is my comment on this matter. Additional discussion? All right, seeing none, all those in favor of Commissioner O'Donnell's motion to deny Northwest Energy's request for partial waiver of administrative and tariff rules concerning in-person notice, signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed signify by saying no. Seeing no opposition, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Again, we have deferred work session items number 7 and 8, the Blue Book review and the PURPA rulemaking. Our next commission business meeting is going to be Tuesday, July 12th, 2022. We will not be holding a business meeting on July 5th, so commissioners and staff can enjoy time with their families and friends over the 4th of July holiday. I do expect that we will be certainly taking up PURPA rulemaking on the July 12th business meeting. Any other matters for the good of the order? Not, it is 10:17 a.m. and I will adjourn today's business meeting.